Okay, so yeah, what are we going to tell people that they should think about with doing backups, particularly if they're going to go in and deploy DAGs and they're going to deploy, say, 3 or 4 or 5 copies of a database?
Sure. So one of the benefits that you get from having this database level replication is, again, you're detaching the database itself from any particular server. This ability to take that database and extend it to more than 2 copies, like you get with CCR today, extend it to 3 copies, 4 copies, and beyond. Now you're in a paradigm where you start to wonder, well, how many copies of my data do I actually need? And where do I want to keep those copies? Is this a copy of the data that I want to keep in an older style technology, like a backup technology? Like, would I put a copy of this on a backup tape, or would I prefer to keep a copy of this online on some disk that I can get to, and more importantly, activate within like 30 seconds? And of course, the other question is, do I want to keep copies of the storage layer as well by using RAID? So now we're actually taking the approach where if you have 3 or more copies of your databases, well, then you can use replication as your backups. You no longer need to take backups for the typical traditional reasons that you would take them. So when you think about it, what are the reasons you take them? You take them for site failures, for server failures, for disk failures, okay? Well, the Exchange high availability solution with database availability groups and mailbox database copies, that addresses that issue. Another reason you might back up is archive and compliance. Well, we have the archive mailbox inside of Exchange 2010 now, so that addresses those scenarios. And then there's the recovered deleted items process. An end user accidentally deletes something, you need it recovered. Well, certainly we still have the recovered deleted items feature, but we also have this new feature in Exchange 2010 called hold policy. And hold policy actually prevents items from being deleted from the system. So that addresses that reason that you would back up. So once you start looking at all the different reasons that you would need to take a backup, you now see that we have all these features built in that really obviate the need to take backups in the first place now and allow you to use these replicated copies for your backups.
Now, if I needed to get a point-in-time recovery, how would I do that? If I need to see a particular item, how it looked, say, 2 weeks ago,
Sure.
How would I get that back?
So let's assume that you weren't able to recover that item out of recovered deleted items and that you weren't using the hold policy so that that item was gone. So the way that you can do it is we still have this notion of what we call a lagged copy in Exchange 2010. We introduced that in Exchange 2007, and it was specifically for that. It was a way of protecting a replicated copy of a database so that if something were to happen to the active, you now had a reasonable time window within which to prevent that catastrophic thing from happening to your passive copy as well. So for instance, you weren't using antivirus software and a virus infected your active and you have no way of getting it out, but you know when it started. So if you have a lagged copy, you could stop the logs where the virus infection started from being replayed into the database, thereby infecting your copy. Same thing with logical corruption as well. The replay lag time will help you mitigate that. If there's logical corruption in your active copy and you have a replay lag time, then you can go ahead and stop potentially that logical corruption from being replayed into that and preserve the copy. So that would be the same thing, going back in time. The lag copy basically gives you the ability to take a database copy and recover it back to a certain point in time, whatever you need.
Okay.
So,
great, thank you.
hold on, one last thing, because I know you got to go, Scott.
Yes.
But what if I only have a single server and I want a backup solution and I don't do replication, but I need that point in time from 2 months ago? I mean, what's the solution there?
So we still have the same VSS backup APIs that we had in Exchange 2007. So if you want to take Exchange-aware VSS backups, we allow you to do that. And in fact, we allow you to take them off either the active copy or any passive copy that you want. And so you'll still have the full capabilities of the backup technologies that you've been used to using.
Perfect. That's what people want to know, right? Okay, thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
Head
Thank
off
you.
to your session.
All right.